Hello, GM. Welcome back for another short video. Just a few days ago, you recorded and published a new video, and it was pretty amazing. You had put a black balloon inside a transparent balloon inside another balloon, and then you actually managed to pop the inside one, the black inside balloon. I'll insert the video here for the viewers so they can watch what was going on. But I would just like to briefly talk with you about that video, because one aspect that I found really interesting is when you watch closely as you compress the black balloon, you can see it being pushed from one side and kind of being pushed together. But you would expect from a physics point of view that the whole set of three balloons would be pushed on the table kind of by applying that pressure. But the whole set of balloon doesn't move. It's just that the black balloon gets compressed and then pops. And my question would be, I mean, what was really going on there? Why didn't the whole set of balloons move?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Hello, Oliver.
Hi.
Okay, I'm going to be extremely honest and frank here. I have absolutely no idea how that happened. It was suggested to me. I haven't done it before. I can tell you that my intent... Actually, I'll back up a little bit. You and I, as you know, have been experimenting in the background with remote influence. You being in Germany, me being over here. And I haven't had much success, as you know. So I'm working towards that. And I was talking to a student, and the student made this, why don't you start by putting something, a balloon inside a balloon inside a balloon? And I thought that was a great idea. The clip that you saw was the first time I did it. Getting the balloon inside the balloon inside the balloon was probably harder than actually popping it. So my intent was, and it has nothing to do with visualization. As you know, when you start to visualize something, all of the energy of your intention goes into the visualization, and it doesn't go beyond that. And that's where a lot of people make the mistake. As soon as you start to visualize something you wish to happen, you've caught it in your head, and it won't go beyond that point. So that I work from intent, and my intent was to reach beyond the first two boundaries until I could literally feel the balloon. Like the best way I could describe it for people to get their head around would be if you had a ghostly hand extended several inches from your own, and I'm using this to feel for the black balloon. That's where you can see one side of the balloon moving. If you look from the side, view, the insert, you can see that the black balloon isn't actually sitting on the table. It's hovering in midair. So as you say, if I was to physiologically press on the balloon, the whole lot should move. But it didn't. So that's one thing I have to look into. My theory at the moment is when mind wraps itself around the target, in this case the balloon, it holds that in place. That's the first part of my theory. The other part is I don't have another part. That's as far as I've got with it. No, what you see, what you get, and I'm still working on that myself. As you know, it's the first time I've tried remote influence in that respect. I have done remote healing, but I dare say that has a lot to do with faith and placebo on the patient's side, not on mine. I probably shouldn't have said that because for obvious reasons. But anyway, let's go on with it. So that's what happened with the balloons. It was a first. I'm not sure what happened. Obviously, there's some kind of suspended animation occurs around the target area. But for me, it proves that I can focus intent beyond boundaries, even though they're very close and very thin. That's all I can say about that. I have had all of the effects that I put up. You'd be amazed. I have hundreds of people sending in their own versions of how they could do it through trickery. People use all sorts of things, chemicals, blah, blah, blah. If that was the case, that would be good, because then I'd know exactly what the case was. I don't know where else to go with this discussion. That's the end of that.
Yeah, that's okay. Since you mentioned our remote telekinesis experiments, I wanted to hold them back until we are successful, but you mentioned them already. So, but as we were speaking, you said that you had minor successes with a friend who lived close to you. Can you briefly talk about that?
The theory behind what happened there.
Yeah, and what you did. I mean, you had successes at close range, right? I mean, he was living like 20 miles away from you or something like
It
that?
was about about 20 kilometers away. But all right, I'll back up again. I did do an experiment with this person. This person does live 20 miles away. The reason I did it with this person is because I've known this person for quite some time, and we have a close connection. We have it in different ways. We're not to the point where you can finish each other's sentences, but that's the case with this person. With you, I've never met you. I don't know well, in person. We haven't had a physiological bonding, and there's lots involved in that. One's presence, you're breathing each other's air in and vapors, and there's skin cells that float around, and you literally bond. It sounds icky, but that's what happens. Now, because we haven't had much success with what you and I are doing, one of my theories is perhaps the reason. I don't know where you live. I don't know how to get there. I've never physically traversed that path to your house, literally. These are all excuses. They're all theories. It's how you get to the bottom of these things. So one of my theories is maybe if there was more of a connection with longitude, latitude, and personal bonding, maybe that would make a difference. So I did an experiment with a friend who was only 20 kilometers away. He had a little object on his dressing side table and a few other things going on in the house. I know my way around the house very, very well. So I astraled through his house. And then I tried to manipulate an object in his room, and it did move. We did have success. He had a glass bowl upside down with a ball inside the bowl. And the idea, there was a circle drawn around the ball. It was a ping pong ball, very light. A circle was drawn around that. And my job was to see if I could get that to move out of that circle. Fortunately, it actually ended up all the way over to the edge of the bowl. I didn't do this in the astral. I went there in the astral to see if I could see it, to see what the situation was, and to familiarize myself with the whole process. And then I did it through feel, and this is the difficult part. When a lot of people astral journey, say you want to astral journey from your bedroom to your kitchen, a lot of people will visualize journeying from the bedroom to the kitchen. That's not happening. That you can never tell if it was real or if it was imagination when you do it that way. So you have to stick with intent, and you have to feel yourself moving through the hallway, feel yourself moving into the kitchen, and suddenly, pow, it opens up and you're there. So I went home and I went through that part of the process, and I got a phone call, and sure enough, movement in the ball. I've moved since then. That person is now several hours away from here, and we don't have any contact anymore. And I'm actually sitting in a motel room right now in the middle of nowhere. It's wonderful. Did I answer your question?
Yep, sure it did.
Cool.
So let's push in one short more question, and then we'll switch to the interview recorded previously, because the viewers are going to see today another interview which we already recorded. At the end of that interview, you briefly mentioned that the whole publication of your videos was kind of an off-the-cuff experiment, and you didn't really expect much of it. But now quite a few people are interested in what you have shared, and my question would be, in general, what are your intentions behind sharing all those videos?
Okay, you already know this. I have absolutely no intentions whatsoever. As you know, in the beginning, the first clip was put up by a student of mine. I was asked, do you mind if we put this up? It's pretty impressive. And off the cuff, yep, sure. And that was the end of that. And then suddenly we were getting emails and all sorts of things. So we just kept putting them up because people liked them, people enjoy them. We get really good feedback. Some people were actually getting inspiration, and it was helping people in so many different ways that I certainly didn't expect. As you mentioned, I didn't expect anyone to be interested. But now, you know, we're in the tens of thousands of subscribers and students all over the world. We have documentary makers contacting us, wanting to do. So we're doing 2 documentaries sometime this year. It's just gone all over the place, much to my slight dismay, because, as I say, I have no intent. I have no plan. I just do stuff. I get up in the morning and I do shit. I never know what I'm going to do or why I'm going to do it. As I mentioned before, I've reached my goal in life. I'm extraordinarily happy. I have no questions about life whatsoever. I have somewhere to live. I'm healthy. I'm happy. And what do you do with that? You know, you just be after that. So I have no plans, and I have absolutely no need to interfere with my bliss. So I just get up and do shit, and that's all there is to it. I guess I could add to that, by me doing that allows life to live through me a lot easier, a lot better, because I don't have any personal objectives. That's that. Oh dear.
Okay, good. Well, I think we'll keep it at that, and we'll now cut over to the video which we recorded a few weeks ago, so the viewers can have some more GM.
Okay, thanks, Oliver.
Okay, thank you too.
Love talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.
See
Bye.
you guys. Bye.
Welcome, GM, back to another interview session. We've got a couple new questions here, and the first one would be, is there an all-inclusive fundamental meaning to life, and does knowing it bring happiness?
Goodness me. Yes, there is. And okay, I'll give you my version of it, and then you can figure out later on how easy it is to see that this is actually the case. What I mean by that is, I'm not about to sprout a belief system. I'm just about to sprout what most mystics observe. If you can imagine life when life first began from nothing, if indeed that's what happened, life doesn't seem to know what it is. If you can imagine in the beginning, before there was any matter, before there was any dust or planets or suns or anything, just absolute pure space endlessly, with nothing there, nothing to see, no movement, no matter. Now, we all know that space is a thing. It's a thing. It has substance, it moves, it can create something out of nothing. It's a thing, and it has plenty of properties. Now, we're going to do a little thought experiment just for a second. Bear with me. Imagine if you were there floating in space before the Big Bang, or whatever created what's here now. Absolutely nothing. So you are floating there in space, pure mind, just pure awareness, no brain, no thoughts, no body, just space, just mind. The Tibetans call space mind and mind space. They see it as the same thing. The Higgs boson is another indicator of what I'm talking about. Now, if you're there floating, absolute nothing, nothing to see, nothing to hear, just pure mind, how would you know you were there? Now, very quick answer, of course, is you wouldn't. You have to see something to imply that you're there seeing it. So one thing leads to another. This mind thing becomes self-aware. There's, we could go into a whole how that happened, but it basically comes down to critical mass when the substance of space would have gotten so thick and so heavy at some point, it would have started to light up. It wouldn't have been in the center because there's no center in space. There would have to be a periphery to measure a center from. So there's no center. But somewhere through pure reason and logic and knowing physics, it would have lit up. It would have started to light up from critical mass. At that point, the mind that we call space eternally would have gone, suddenly it becomes self-aware. Now it can see it's kind of know that it's there because it can see this lighting upness that is happening within itself, within space. At that point, if it could speak, and of course it didn't, but if it could, it would have been something like this. It would have gone, I am. What am I? I don't know. I'm invisible. Okay, how do we fix that? Bang, now it has skin. Now there's a big bang. Suddenly from that need to know itself, there is matter. Now it can see itself. And it looks like this so far. It looks like planets and suns and everything that's going on in life. That's what it looks like when it puts its skin on, which we call matter. Now, of course, it's only just realized that it exists. So now the question is, what am I? I have to unfold and see what I am. And of course, if there's no periphery, it's going to be unfolding through space forever, no end. And this is where we get our curiosity from. This is where we get our adventurousness from. This is where we get our daring from. This is why everything born wants to know what this is all about. Where did we come from? How did we get here? It's a question of life, and life is still asking that question in us. So life needs to know what it is. It wants to know what it is. That's what life is doing throughout the cosmos. For every human being that isn't doing that, they're not on the same page as the rest of life. And if you're not on the same page as rest of the if you're not on the same page as the rest of life, life doesn't make any sense to you. We've gone through this before. Suddenly you think you are a separate little fragmented entity, not connected to the rest of the cosmos. And all of a sudden it doesn't make sense. When things go wrong for you, you start to wonder things like, what have I done wrong? Why am I being punished? What did I do to deserve this in life? And of course, that's not the case. There's nothing being done to you. You are all of it. I could go on and on and on with that one. So my point is, when you start watching, when you start observing, you're doing what life has set out to do. It is watching itself unfold. It is watching what's happening. And of course, in that watching and in that curiosity to know what it is, there's no room for opinions and judgments and hatred and all of that sort of thing. You would just be putting that upon yourself, and it's ridiculous. So yes, when suddenly you're not just wasting your life away being drugged out or just out there trying to hurt people or wanting this and wanting that, your average everyday life, if you're living that, you're going to have the life that everyone has. There'll be moments of joy, moments of unhappiness, moments of confusion and all the rest of it, because many things don't make sense. If, on the other hand, you wake up each day and you just explore, you watch what you do, you watch what you think, you watch why you thought what you thought and why you did what you did, based on those thoughts. You watch life, all life. You look for yourself in all life. Then you're on the same page as the rest of the cosmos. You're searching, you're watching, you're looking. There's no room for stupidity. There's no room for, like I said, judgments and all of that ridiculousness. These things have all come about because people aren't on the same page as the rest of the cosmos anymore. It's that simple, really. I don't know how well that came out, but that's the answer, I think. Quick answer, yes. Get on the same page as the rest of life and constantly happy. Not a problem at all. It's wonderful. Oh, my dog. My dog agrees. Just let my dog out.
Okay. So the next question would be, is there such a thing as the correct path, and what should one look for in a spiritual teacher?
Okay. No, there is no such thing as a spiritual path. Reason being, anything either side of now is either memory or assumption. Now is all that there is. So where is the path going to go from there? It can't go anywhere. Truth is a pathless land. Reality is a pathless land. It all happens right now. So right now is where the miracle is. Right now is where you're living. Right now is where everything is happening. Not just here in my head, not just in this room, in the cosmos. It's happening right now. Anything either side, like I said, is either memory or assumption. Therefore, to say that you are on a path means that you are setting yourself up for something that isn't there. If you were to say to yourself, and most people do this, I'm going to become a better person. I'm going to stop being angry. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop doing that. This is setting a path up. Why can't you just stop being angry now? Why don't you start being a better person now? Why do you have to wait until tomorrow? Why do you have to wait until the next meal? Why do you have to wait until next week to give up your cigarettes? Why can't you do it right now? Because we have this delusion that you have to set up a path. And like I said, where are you going to set up a path to? It's all these little tiny things that keep people from reality and keep people from doing the best they can possibly do. They think they're doing the best they can do. They're trying to do the best that they can do, but they have the wrong information, and they have somewhat of a misunderstanding of truth and reality. Simple things, like I just mentioned about the path, it's not possible for a path. Little things like that, and we've talked about identifying truth in other discussions. What was one of the previous ones we were talking about was bravery. People want to get rid of their fear so that they can be brave. And yet, if you just look at that situation for a few more seconds, it's easy to see that bravery is the very act of doing something that scares you. If it doesn't scare you, it doesn't take bravery to do it. So just adding these little tweaks and things when you're looking at reality and what to do in your life and how to better yourself, you'll move a lot quicker. Don't believe other people. Don't believe books and all of the rest of it. You know, books are like bus stops. They'll tell you a few things and they'll point to a few things, but what you're looking for, I guess, is the creator, your creator, or a creator, or whatever created life, or wherever life come from. These are the things we're looking for, and the meaning of life. So why are you looking outside of yourself? I would say to people, look at you, look at what you are. You are matter animated by this strange, mysterious thing called life. It's happening here right now. So why are you going to go off and spend 50 or 60 years looking in other places and asking other people what's going on inside you? Close your eyes and go inwards. Look at your thoughts, look at your emotions, be with them, see why they're there, where did they come from? It's all happening here. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be here. So you are a miracle, no less or no more than the miracle of every other sun, every other planet in the cosmos. You are a miracle. And it's happening here, and you right now have the liberty to pull it apart, like a kid pulling a watch apart, or a kid pulling a clock to pieces and not being able to put it back together. Hopefully that won't happen. But the thing is, go in there, pull it apart, have a look at how it's working, why it's working, what's making it work, where's the battery, etc., etc. Go in there and you will find it. Why? Because you're it. It's that simple. When it comes to a teacher, looking for the teacher, a teacher shouldn't be the kind of person that is constantly sprouting quotes from other people. A teacher should have his own quotes. A teacher should be able to back up and live what your teacher professes. A teacher should constantly be supportive. A teacher should constantly be able to lift your spirits. A teacher should support and guide you at all times, but never ever tell you how to be or what to be. A teacher should never ever try and indoctrinate you into wearing certain clothes. A teacher should never tell you who you can love and who you can sleep with. A teacher will never tell you these things. A teacher should always, always be pointing you towards your own inner joy and the truth that lies behind your eyes. It's that simple. You know when you're sitting in front of a teacher should be able to sit there and not say a damn word, and you'll still feel pretty good about being in their presence. The one thing as a student, though, as a seeker, is don't rely on the presence of the teacher. Don't rely on the teacher. That's another thing to look for. If your teacher is constantly trying to get you to rely on them for your truth, rely on them for your joy, rely on them for your happiness, you've actually joined a cult, and you don't want to go down that road. You are the best teacher. Let me rephrase that. The best teacher is a living example of what it is you are looking for in life. If a teacher doesn't know something, that teacher should say, I don't know. And then you will explore together. When you ask a teacher a question about your own, let's say, sorrows or miseries, a teacher won't tell you what you're doing wrong, won't tell you what you're doing right. A good teacher will walk with you side by side, inside yourself. They'll go, what is it that's making you angry? Let's go in there and look at this anger. Let's go in there and look at the love. Let's go in there and look at this together. And you explore. A teacher will teach you how to explore. That's the best I can give you on that respect. You know, if you're ever with a teacher, if anything ever doesn't feel right, if anything ever feels a little uncomfortable, go with that, because if you're feeling that, then there's something wrong, honestly. Just imagine sitting in front of the Dalai Lama. How would you feel? You would feel very at peace, very joyful. If you sat in front of the Dalai Lama and felt a little bit, oh, this doesn't feel quite right, well, that wouldn't happen. But I would suggest if that did happen, you should leave. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What is your general take on the occult, as it has a bad rep in many circles?
Yeah, we can thank the Catholic Church and probably Aleister Crowley for that one. Occult, like anything, it's like a gun. You can use that gun to protect your family from snakes. You can use that gun to protect your family from bears or psychopathic murderers and all of the rest of it. Or you can use that gun to kill innocent people and to do lots of unwarranted damage. It's a tool. Occult, as most people would know these days, occult just means hidden. Occult is the science of natural cause and effect. Every science we have today, every legitimate science, including just everything from quantum physics to astrophysics and even the weather, understanding the science of weather, all of these things were occult once. We now know that by seeding the clouds, we can make it rain. Back in the old days, many centuries ago, as you know, people would have tried to do rain dances in order to make it rain. They were trying to get the sky to rain so that their crops could grow. So they tried everything they could possibly think of to make it work. There was hidden properties that they were trying to get into, hidden things that they were trying to understand in order to take control of the weather. That would be regarded as a cult. You go to any church, a cult is basically creating change in nature in absolute conformity to your will. That's what a cult is, or occult magic. It's trying to create and cause change at the drop of a hat in conformity to your will, and have everything absolutely in your control. That's what occultism is. Now, let me. Okay, this is what I'm trying to get at here. Sorry, I'm trying to come up with some very good examples that everyone can relate to. Let's say you have a slight illness, nothing too bad, and you don't want it to get worse, so you think to yourself, I need to go to a doctor and get this fixed. You've already started a ritual to heal there. You've thought of the entity that can help you rather than a god or anything like that. We're talking about a doctor here. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, when I go to a doctor, this guy is going to help me. The doctor will help me out. So you've already pre-suggested that. So you get on the bus and you go to the doctor. That's the ritual that has now begun. The doctor will look at you and go, touch, and he'll tell you what's wrong. That's what you wanted to hear. Now he's going to give you the magic potion, the magic piece of paper that you have to go and give to another person, which is the chemist. So he'll give you this magic piece of paper. Now you're getting excited because you're halfway to the end of your misery, your problem. So you're already healing at this point. You're healing yourself, all pre-suggested. So now you rush off to the chemist and you give this piece of paper to the chemist, and he gives you this magical potion that nobody knows what's in there except him. So you take that and you feel better. Of course, 80% of the time it's sugar, and you've healed yourself through placebo. That's a cult. You just created change, or a few people involved created change within you, a miraculous healing change. And it was all associative and suggestion. Nothing actually happened, but it healed you. That's a ritual, and that's a cult. On the other way, if you wanted to, let's say you are living out in the outback and you're a farmer, let's say you're a Quaker. I don't want to bring too many religions into it, but let's say you're a Quaker. Back in the old days when these people might have had a feud with each other, you might go along to, you might go out into the woods if you're in Europe, and you might find yourself some wolf poo, some feces from a bear or from a wolf or from a wild dog. And you would put that underneath the floorboards of the shed where the farmer keeps his cows and his cattle. When he milks his cows and his cattle, he would put them in a certain shed to milk them. Now, if you go under there and you put some dog poo or some feces underneath the floorboards, you're not going to get the cows to go in there. Now, if the farmer that you've done that to is a little superstitious and believes in the occult, he's going to think now that he's been bewitched. He can't get his cattle to go in there. His chooks won't even go in there. He can't get any livestock to go into these sheds. He doesn't know why. Now, the person who's put the poo under there can now call this farmer and go, I believe that your property has been bewitched, and I can get rid of that bewitchment, but it's going to cost you some money. This is all occult. It's in this case, it's just another word for being conned, really. So occult can mean everything from real bona fide medical situations. They actually still use occult to heal people, and I just gave you an example. or you can use it to con people. It's all about the hidden. So that's all I can really tell you about occult. Everyone does it every day, and you can use it for good or for bad. Most people that want to have power over others, most people that want to con you or earn money from you or just want to feel special in the eyes of others, they will use occult for all the wrong things and all the wrong reasons, and they will study it. And when you go about it that way, you start to learn how colors affect different people, how different sounds affect different people. The CIA, of course, has done all of this with MK Ultra. So I guess to end that particular question off, a cult isn't really a cult anymore because none of it is hidden. Most people understand association these days. Most people understand autosuggestion. Most people understand all of this kind of thing. So can it be called a cult anymore? Perhaps not. Was that an answer?
Sure, thank you. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. Some people seem to choose to stop evolving in order to avoid the fear and cognitive dissonance caused by new information. Is there a way we can help this group of people to become engaged again in their own development?
Yes, there's plenty of things that can be done. Once again, it comes back to exactly the same thing. You can't fix a problem with the same mind that created a problem. It's all about changing the mind, changing the thoughts. People fear change. People spend and invest a great amount of time and effort in their lives to be comfortable and to be safe, to have four walls around them, to have a fire where they can be warm, to have a reasonable supply of food coming in, and family and friends around them. It's just to get to that state can be quite difficult. I mean, we're all born into that and we grow up in that, but then there's a time when you have to leave home. Now it's your turn. Now you have to protect yourself. If you have a family, you've got to protect your new family. You've got to feed them. It's very difficult to get established in life. Now, of course, the only certainty in life is change, and trying to establish a permanent situation in a cosmos where change is the only certainty is even more difficult, and it's actually impossible. And for these reasons, people don't like change. They don't want it. It represents work. It represents newness. It represents more surprises. People don't like surprises unless they're paying for it, if you know what I mean by that. The Japanese refer to it, and when I say the Japanese, I mean the older Japanese, the samurai. They refer to these people as having a lazy spirit in that, even though it might, let's say you and I, for instance, we might be happily nice and warm walking, going through a bit of a bushwalk, and we might see a cave. And this cave might look like no one's ever been in there. It might look like a cave that we've just discovered. One of us might not have a lazy spirit, and that one of us will go, ooh, let's go and have a look at that. And your curiosity, your need to know, your want to go into that change and to go headlong into the darkness and see what's out there, what newness, what difference there is, will override your want to just stay over here and be safe and comfortable and warm in your nice hiking boots. You don't want to walk through the stream and get your feet wet. So the person that doesn't have the lazy spirit will go into the dark cave. You know, there's a slight possibility there might be a cave bear in there, but what the hell? So you go in there and you explore. That's a warrior spirit. That's curiosity. That's life exploring and being curious. That's life seeing something that it doesn't know about itself and going in to do it. One might say that's brave, but it's not. It's just lovely. Now, the other person who's got a lazy spirit, they don't want to get their feet wet. They don't want to run. They don't want to walk up the hill into the cave. They certainly don't want to go up there if they don't know what's in there. So it's a matter of fear. It's a matter of comfort. It's a matter of laziness. I'm not trying to insult anyone. You know, if you look at it, it's easy to see what I'm saying. That's what it comes down to, really. So once again, if you're not connected to life, if you don't feel this connection to all life, you're going to be scared. If you don't feel this connection to all life, if you don't experience this connection with all life, you're going to feel vulnerable. You're going to feel alone. You've just established a safe place, a safe little warm corner for you in life, in this world, and you don't want that to change. You just want to stay in there and be in that. Is there anything wrong with that? Well, I don't think so. It's a bit of a waste of life. But if that's all that makes you happy, then you are destined to be happy in a dark little corner somewhere, never to venture out, never to embrace change. But if you're happy like that, what's wrong with that? It's about being happy and comfortable at the end of the day. Not everyone can be a warrior. Not everyone can be at the forefront of evolution. Did I answer that?
Sure, you did. Thank you.
Excellent.
Next one. How to best deal with feelings of inadequacy, and what is a good approach to learn to love oneself?
A good approach to learn to love oneself. Just watch what you can do. Here's a very, very simple one. And if you take a piece of A4 paper, it doesn't have to be A4, take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. And on one side of the line at the top, you put the heading positive or a plus sign. On the other side, you put negative or a minus sign. All the things that you like and you love about yourself, you write down in one column. And all the things you don't like about yourself and all of your weaknesses, you put in the negative column. Most people in the beginning think that the negative column is going to be 3 times longer than the positive column. But you would be surprised, and everyone is surprised. You start writing down the things you can do. You start looking at the things you can do. You look at all the lovely attitudes you have behind the things that you do. Do you like helping people? Are you good at woodwork? Are you good at cooking? Are you good at helping other people? Are you a good listener? You know, look, everything that is good and positive about yourself, write it down. And I can guarantee within 15 minutes, you'll be blown out at actually how good you are. And that's just on a personal level. If you understand and if you reconnect with the rest of life and know that you are life and you are in all things and you saturate the cosmos, I think that's a pretty good way of loving yourself. It's a practice. So basically, and once again, same answer as everything else we've had in this conversation. If you rise above the thoughts that make you feel inadequate, where are you going to end up? You're going to end up in an absolute peaceful state of mind, watching your thoughts feeling inadequate. At that point, you're not those thoughts. You're not inadequate. You're just watching. At that moment, you have a realization, oh, goodness me. So that's where my feelings of inadequacy was coming from. It was a thought, line of thought that I wasn't watching, thought process that I was unaware of. Most people just give in to their thoughts as their God. Most people, you know, we're educated to praise the almighty human intellect as the new God. And, you know, we like to fool ourselves that that is the reason that we are on top of the ladder when it comes to life on this planet. We think we are on top of the ladder. We think we are the dominating creature on the planet. And of course, the COVID virus just showed us that that's a load of crap. Bacteria can even do worse than that, you know. I've just got lost in that one. pretty much. So that's it. You get to the state of mind where you can watch your thoughts that are saying, I am inadequate. And obviously, when you're thinking those thoughts, you will feel inadequate. When you are watching those thoughts, you'll just smile at yourself because they're just thoughts. That's the trick with everything. It really is. There is this wonderful higher mind. It's not the Son of God. There's just this wonderful place in every human being, and it's been there since the day you were born. You think about it, since you were born, your body has grown older, maybe gotten a little fatter, your eyes don't see as well, your hair's gone grey, if not fallen out like mine. And yet there is one thing that has not changed since the day you were born, and that's your awareness. It hasn't gotten older, it hasn't gotten grey, it hasn't slowed down, it hasn't gotten wrinkly, it doesn't hurt. Awareness, the awareness that you are in there has not changed one dot since the day you were born. And that part of you is just full of joy. There's no anger, there's no aggression, there's no hatred, there's no self-centeredness or opinions or judgments. There's just this wonderful state of mind, and it's still there. So to end all of these problems that you're asking about today, once again, I would just say, get to that state of mind that is peaceful, loving, wonderful, mysterious, free of all of these ridiculous things that makes life horrible for us. Get to that point, and it doesn't matter what you were or what you've done, it's over, and you will just start to live in peace. That's simple. Well, it's easier said than done, but you know, you've got to want to. It has to be a priority. If the ending of misery isn't a priority in your life, then it's just a hobby. And if it's just a hobby, it's going to plod along as hobbies do. And you may or you may not ever get there. The ending of misery has to be a priority for you. And it'll happen very quickly if it is a priority. And in that, let's just leave it at that. I'll show you how to get there later if you want to.
Yeah, let's actually do that right now. Let's do the exercise part you were suggesting.
All right, I would love to do that. Okay, anyone that's listening to this right now, I would suggest you do this because it's really good. It's really good for you. Okay, so right now, just for a moment, think of all the things and the people in the world that is making the world a very, very dubious place to be at the moment. There's all the people who are causing trouble because of racism. There's people causing trouble because of war. People causing trouble for whatever reason. Just think of all of these people out there causing trouble and problems, and people that are irritating each other, and people that are threatening each other and accusing each other of this and that. And honestly, this world could just be so nice if these people would just stop it. So your average person would think, how do we get rid of these people? How can we do that? How can we make this place a better place? How do we stop these people being born in the first place? Well, they're all wrong. It's going down the wrong road. That's not how it works. So I just want to show you something real quick. If you just grab your finger and your thumb, can you see that? Finger and your thumb. Now, just still your mind for a moment. Take a nice, easy, deep breath. And in your left hand, just press your finger and your thumb together just for a few moments. Feel the pressure. Is it painful? Is it not painful? Is it hot? Is it cold? Are there any pins and needles? Just feel it. With your entire mind, just be in your finger and your thumb. Now just release that for a sec. And take a nice, easy, deep breath, really, really low into the bottom of your lungs. And as you let it out, relax. Now press your other thumb and finger together. Be with it. Feel it. Feel the skin. Feel the pressure. Feel the warmth. Wonderful. Now release that. Take another deep breath. Just relax. Now, you feel quite calm, you feel quite wonderful. There's no aggression, there's nothing. It's just lovely, very peaceful. Now, if we took all of those people that are irritating you and irritating each other and fighting in the streets and all of the rest of it, if we took every single one of those people and just got them to do this exercise for 1 minute, they would all be in the same state of mind that you're in right now. No agitation, no anger, no aggression, nothing, no bias. It's the wonderful state of mind. And that is in everyone. It doesn't matter how bad or how evil or how horrible they may seem. If you do this exercise and just take them out of their mind momentarily, everyone is on the same page. Everyone, regardless of your color, your creed, your traditions, your opinions, everyone becomes the same at that point, and it's just wonderful. It's that easy. It doesn't take a world revolution to do this. What it does take, of course, is to get everyone in the world to do this at the same time. If you've got everyone on the planet to do this for 1 minute at the same moment, 7.5 billion people, it would be the most silent, happiest, joyful moment this planet has known since we arrived. That might have been a bit harsh, but you get the idea. It's that simple, Oliver. Is that good?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Now, don't get me wrong, to be in that state of mind, you don't need to go and lock yourself away or sit under a tree. I mean, those things are nice, but it doesn't have to be that way. Meditation, obviously, many people ask me how often I meditate, and it's the other way for me. How often don't I meditate? I watch myself go to sleep at night. I watch myself dream. I watch myself wake up. I watch myself get up. I watch myself start thinking. And I watch myself throughout the day until it goes to bed again. Otherwise, how do I know what it is? You know, you have to watch it to know what it is. So that's meditating all the time. And that's how it should be for everyone. When you're washing the dishes, feel the slipperiness, feel the warmth of the water, look at the bubbles, notice the different colors on the bubbles, feel the warmth of the water, hear the squeakiness of the dishes as you're washing them. That's meditation. That's it. It's that simple. So for me, it's more a matter of occasionally I'll forget to do that if I get too excited with things, and I'll get caught up in the moment. But that's okay. As I said once before, many people in meditation, what they would call meditation, when they notice that they've drifted off in thought, they get upset and they think they failed in their meditation, and that's not the case. The very fact that you've noticed that you've drifted off in thought means that you're still meditating. You noticed it, you watched it drifting off. The fact that you got aggressive over it or you got upset about it means that you fell into the trap of thinking that you have to stop thinking, and that's not the case. Many people would ask what kind of meditation to do. There's only one kind of meditation. Anything else is contemplation. A guided meditation isn't meditation. Visualization isn't meditation. That's visualization. Thinking lofty thoughts, that's not meditation. That's contemplation. Watching yourself do all of those things, that's meditation. There's only one meditation, and that is just watch. And there's reasons why that works and why it is. Blah.
Well, Jim, thank you very much again for an interesting conversation.
Oh, absolutely, my pleasure. Let's do it again, Oliver.
We will, sure.
Excellent. Okay, my friend. Thank you. Thank you, everyone that's watching. Thank everyone for your support. Can I just mention one thing that has really, really surprised me in life? When I first started doing this online stuff a year or so ago, I honestly thought at best I might get maybe 300 or 400 people would be interested in this kind of stuff. It was purely an off-the-cuff experiment. Well, now we have over 30,000 registered students, and we've got millions and millions of people that email us, and it's just blown me out of the water. And I'm so happy that so many people are on this path of self-improvement and self-betterment. You know, if it keeps going this way, I think within 30 or 50 years, this planet is just going to be the most wonderful place to be. It really will be. Be the end of war, be the end of most misery. I can see that. Anyway, I just thought I'd like to throw that in, and I'd just like to thank all of those people for wanting to be better people. It's wonderful. That's it. I've gotten all gooey now.
Okay, thank you.
Auf Wiedersehen.